Well, I'd like to say good morning to my viewing audience. Here we are with a bright new day. A day to get stuff done, a day to catch up with things, and welcome to our vlog. So, here we go. Well, this morning I ran into a little bit of a, what do you want to call it, conundrum, or roadblock, or puzzle. It's been best part of 2, maybe even 3 months since I've used my Marathon utility trailer. As you see, it sits there, kind of growing into the weeds. However, with the basement furnace replacement going on, I need to haul away some garbage, and well, the trailer is the obvious candidate for the job. However, I seem to have misplaced the coupler lock for the trailer. Now, of course, my first instinct is to fire up the grinder, start hacking and cutting, and pry the coupler lock off it. However, I stand probably a good strong chance of damaging the coupler either before I get it off or while I get it off. And that coupler is welded onto the tongue of the trailer, not bolted like it was from factory, because for those of my viewers that have been around for a few years, I had the tongue of the trailer rebuilt so it can handle a lot more weight than well, the factory rating was. Which wouldn't be a bad thing if I had to change it out, because then I could change it out to the same size as the camper trailer, and I wouldn't have to switch around, you know, the inserts or the balls every time I want to pull the trailer for, well, 15-20 minutes. Because, well, the way things are going, I think there may be a change up coming in the utility trailer, and eventually it's going to be big sizes all the way around. Time will tell on that. No plans written in stone, but that's my goal. That's what I got my sights set on. Maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't. So before I start hacking and cutting and grinding and pulling and swearing and getting myself all in a lather, I am going to clean up my key holder, clean up the office, double search the truck, and start retracing my steps. However, I can barely remember what I did the day before yesterday, much less 2.5-3 months ago, whenever I did the last dump run or lumber run, whatever it would have been. So the chances of finding it are a little bit on the minimum side, but if it's in my office, well, I'll find it, I guess. It's always good to keep things tidy, keep things semi-organized, because, well, you end up with a situation like this. Unfortunately, the way the world works, you have to keep things locked, and every one of those locks has a key, and every one of those doors has a key. Everything has a key, you know, so you end up with like 1,300 keys, and then whatever the situation may be, you happen to cut a lock or sell something, and sometimes the key don't go with it, or sometimes the lock breaks, so then you have extra keys, and then pretty soon you have keys for locks that you don't even have, and locks for keys that you don't even have, and you know how it goes, right? But it's kind of one of them things, you know, you got to keep things locked, and well, that's one of the side effects or downsides of having to keep everything locked up. But pretty much, guys, gonna go in, make me a beverage, watch the news, calm on down a bit, start searching around the office, cleaning things up, sorting things out, putting things away, and if we find the key, then great. If not, well, then we can always carry, I guess, the garbage to the trailer itself. And once the trailer is full of garbage, then we can decide what we're gonna do with the coupler or not. If it was the cheap style discount store coupler, you could just cut the arch off it and it would fall to the ground. This one here is the kind that covers the bottom of the coupler as well as notches into the top flange. So unless you cut the top flange and bend it out of the way, I don't believe it's going to drop away. And once you've cut that top flange, then I'm not sure if it's going to be able to ever hook back onto another truck. So we'll cross that bridge when we get there, and around we go. A little bit of a late update here. Well, of course, I did some digging around the office, and well, I found a key. However, it's not for the coupler lock that's in question. It's for the other coupler lock, and I have no idea where the other coupler lock currently is, so it's I'm not quite sure what direction to go. Do I hold off for a bit longer and see if I find it, or do I cut it off? Like I said there earlier, the trailer is not a huge demand right now. It doesn't really need to be hauled out right now, and it doesn't really need to be cut off right now. However, if it's the case, then I'd like to have it done before freeze up, because, well, doing something like that in 40 below is not going to be much fun. So I got a little while longer to keep searching, find the key. It looks just like this one, except different. If you guys see it, let me know. I guess that's what happens when I leave two keys chained together. Guess I should separate them, put them on separate keychains, and then it all would have been fine. Or maybe that's what I did. Maybe I did separate them and put them on separate keychains, and I've misplaced the keychain. You never know, right? Way life goes, the way things go, the way things change. It could have easily happened, and I just don't remember. So it's kind of one of them things. If I cut it off, then sure enough I'll find the key, and I got myself a repair bill, especially if I don't do it right. If I don't cut it off, then I'm without the trailer until I find a key or figure out how to find a key, and then well, hey, we'll see how it does from there. I just had a weird thought in my head. I wonder how one of those things would stand up to heat. If I put a propane torch on it and heated it up, I wonder what would happen. Would it melt the innards out of it and drop to the ground, fall off the trailer, or not? That's always another option. Heat it up first before I cut it off. And then if it does release, then there's no damage to the coupler. Maybe slight little heat damage, but it won't be much at all. But pretty much, guys, of course, gonna keep on digging, and hopefully we can come up with something. Well, hello, here we are. We come to the end of another day. It was a good day. It was a bit of a frustrating day. Still have not been able to find that key. I've searched everywhere. You'd be surprised how many keys you have when you start rooting around finding keys for locks you don't have, or locks you don't think you have anymore. I guess that's the way it is, right? So it looks like I'm going to have to do some surgery. See if I can cut that coupler lock off without damaging the coupler. Looking online at videos and write-ups of this particular model of lock, it's actually not that strong of a lock. One guy removed his with a big yellow pry bar. Essentially, I can see how that would work, because really there's only one point of contact, and that's the little slide that goes over the lip of the coupler. And there's a ball kind of a deal that goes underneath that locks into the coupler. However, you open the coupler and the ball is loose, and if you put a pry bar under it, you can kind of move it off. It's primarily constructed out of zinc, so zinc itself is not that strong of a metal. It's cheap because, well, that's why they use it, because it's cheap. And it looks pretty when it's well plated and polished all up. So I don't know if I should go cut it off tomorrow and be done with it, or if I should wait one more day. Because sure enough, if I were to cut it off, that's when the key will show up. But if I wait another week, the key still won't show up. So I think pretty much just gotta pull the tooth, get at her, get her done, rip the band-aid off, and it is what it is. That's what happens. You lose stuff. Stuff happens. A lot of things have happened in the last year in my life. A lot of ups and downs, especially in the last 6 months in my life. And sometimes I'm surprised that I remember what I remember, given, well, things that have gone on. But pretty much, guys, gonna end her all here. Today was a good one. Tomorrow, well, it's gonna be even better. And as always, thanks for watching Maxwell's Vlogs. Comment, subscribe, and enjoy.